So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Roma Theory. I'm going to start this new series. Once in a while, I'm going to go live to speak about youth matters, a youth focusing, because I think our youth deserves a focusing. Some of our youth players deserve to get more call-ups, and our youth team in general, I think, has to be exploited more. And today we are focusing on a youth player who plays at Roma called Nicolò Pisilli, who's already been named Roma's Pablo Gavi. And we'll speak about him. We'll speak about the academy in general. I want to hear your thoughts about everything. I want to hear your thoughts about the youth thing, the players which you're interested in when it comes to the youth, if you follow it, and all of that. And yeah, today we're speaking about Roma's Pablo Gavi. And I am going to start today's focusing reading this it's an article about him to kind of describe what sort of player he is, the personality he has. And I love these articles, may I add. I love these articles because they are articles which not many people are good at writing, because it's such a hidden part of Roma. You know, the youth. Nobody really cares about the youth. Everyone looks at the first team and the first players, Dybala and Abraham and Pellegrini. But I think the few articles we have on these players, I think, are spot on. And yeah, look, it gives you a perspective of how he plays. He's got some real numbers, and at the end of the day, the comparison with Pablo Gavi, which is not a comparison, obviously, and that's what we'll delve in as soon as I finish this article. Roma Primavera, with its little gems, is confirming the goodness of the work done between Trigoria and the Tre Fontane Stadium, which is where they play, and moreover in a particular year, because it is the one in which Federico Guidi took the place of Alberto De Rossi on the Giallorossi youth bench. And on the pitch, a bit has happened last season with Casadei at Inter. The seasonal goal scorer who is dragging Roma along is a midfielder called Nicolò Pisilli. Born in 2004, he's a box-to-box midfielder, a classic. Both the interdiction phase and the attack phase are great, with times of insertion in the area that are rare for the boys of his age. During the season, in 28 appearances, he scored 12 goals and provided 6 assists with the Roma shirt. In addition to the double goal, to the brace, with the Italian under-19 team against Germany a few weeks ago. Many have already renamed him the Gavi of Roma, comparing him to the starlet who already plays a very important role in the Barcelona team. When you wear this shirt and you support this team, it weighs twice as much. But my dream is to stay another 10 years here and make my debut at the Olimpico, is what he said. And yeah, look, let's speak about him. I think Mourinho gave him a call-up when we lost 4-3 against Sassuolo. That was the game that Mourinho gave Pisilli a call-up. And I just think, I've said this many times, but I think our youth is something which we have to exploit. And I'd be lying to you if I said that Roma is using its youth team. I think our youth team right now is wasted, because you get a few players. You get 1 out of 10 players who maybe get a debut, but the majority of them barely ever play with the first team, barely ever debut with the first team. And at the end of the cycle, they always kind of get sold for us to make profit. You look at Fratesi's example. He was a youth player, which we sold because we wanted to make money, and now we're back interested in him. I think our youth team right now is a wasted youth team. We don't exploit it as much as we should. We don't take its benefits. We don't dig in it and grab the minerals and the gold of it, because it's full of it. Our youth is the best out there. I mean, look, I believe our youth is first in the league. Our youth is in the final of against Inter in the Coppa Italia youth thing. And there are a few players which we have promoted to the first team. The big one obviously being Zalewski. And I just hope that more of these players get promoted, because I think, first of all, First of all, when you're a team like Roma, which season in and season out is always targeted by financial fair play, and therefore don't have the financial power such as other teams, if you get a good youth player, which you turn into someone like Pablo Gavi, you've got a decent player and you spend no money on it. But we don't take these risks. We take these risks, but we don't. Once with Zalewski, I want another one. Yeah, okay, Volpato got promoted, Bove got promoted, Tahirovic got promoted. I think it's time for Pizzilli to make that step, because he's the goal scorer of our... And look at the stats. I mean, you look at the statistics and you're like, this guy's a gem. You look at the statistics and in 28 appearances, he's got 18 contributions, 12 goals and 6 assists. That is an immediate... Like, you look at these statistics and you're like, wow, he really is something else. It means that he is outstanding in his category. And obviously, this streamer is not trying to compare him with Gavi, because obviously he has better stats than Gavi, but Gavi plays in the first team. Gavi has more pressure because he plays in Europa League. He played in Europa League. He plays in a first team. He played in the Champions League. So I'm not by any chance trying to compare the two. But am I here trying to say that Pizzilli can become the new Gavi? Absolutely. Problem is, in Spain and in countries like England, in countries like Spain, and in countries like Germany, these young players get more opportunities because their teams invest more in them and believe more in them. In Italy, it's promoting a youth player is seen as a, oh wow, you're a moron club. And this is the problem. I mean, look, if you watched the first video which I posted on my second channel about the Italian national team and my 87-year-old grandfather's perspective, go watch it if you haven't already and subscribe to that channel. That's the main problem of this Italian national team. As my grandfather said, a Serie A team would rather invest in a mediocre foreign player than pull and promote an academy player. And that is why the Italian national team is having a collapse. And that is why, in a league like the Serie A, not many teams benefit from their youth teams. And that is the reason why Pablo Gavi, right now, is what he is at Barcelona. Or even the other guy, Pedri. You know, Pizzilli is the same age as Gavi. But obviously, due to the fact that Gavi plays in the first team, and Gavi is a staple in Barcelona right now, and Barcelona have underwent a generational change, and they have a lot of generational talents in that team, due to the fact that Gavi plays in the first team. He's got more cameras and eyes on him, which kind of make him older than players like Pizzilli, but they're the same age. Both of them are 18. And you see, right now, you compare the two, you can't compare the two, but even if you want to compare the two, Gavi's better because Gavi plays in a better team and plays in the first team. But who knows, maybe Pizzilli can be better than Gavi, but we just don't exploit our youth, so we will never know. And that's kind of what an Italian team would rather do. An Italian team would rather buy someone like Cilic rather than invest in the fullback of the youth team. And that has a lot of consequences, a lot of negative consequences. One of them is Italy not qualifying for the World Cup, because everything is linked from these decisions, which a league, a football association like Italy should prevent. It should prevent doing. But look, I think stat-wise and the way he plays, he can make that step. You look at the stats, and it basically tells you that he's mature enough to make that step up in his career. These statistics show that he is kind of different from the players he's around with in the youth category. Because if he's a box-to-box midfielder and you're telling me he's the goal scorer of this team, it immediately means that he is the best player in the youth team and that he's different than the other players, meaning that he has more talent. And if you tell me that a box-to-box midfielder who plays in our youth team and in that category, which is a very competitive category, just because it's the youth, oh well, yeah, but it's a very competitive league, the youth is, and we're very good at it. But if you're telling me that a box-to-box midfielder, so not an attacker, a box-to-box midfielder, therefore covers the defensive section and the offensive section on an equal basis, if you're telling me a box-to-box midfielder scored 12 goals and provided 6 assists in 28 games, that means that he's different to all the players he is around in the youth league. And that means that he's got more talent. And that is why I want him to be promoted. Because we can get the fruits from him. We can plant more seeds in our first team and grow players like Gavi and players like that. And then, look, I think the big factor of this live stream, one of the big things of this live stream is differences between youth development in Italy and in other leagues, in other countries. It's a devastating problem. I want you right now in the chat, this is a challenge for everyone who's watching this stream right now, or in the comments if you're watching this later on. I want you right now in the chat to write me one generational talent, one Italian generational talent who plays in a Serie A team. It has to be Italian because otherwise it doesn't count. I challenge you to do that. Because you look at England and you've got Saka, who's English and will mark a big future in English football. Foden, Rashford. You've got Bellingham, who I know doesn't play in England, but he is an English generational talent. And that's England. Then you move to Spain. Gavi, Pedri. What's the guy's name? The guy who plays for... What's his name again? Llorente from Atletico Madrid. Name me one in Italy. Name me an Italian generational talent who will become a generational talent in an Italian team. You can't. And I believe that we can be the first team to show everyone that Italy can do this too, and that Italy has got gems too. And I want Roma to start this process. And by starting this process, I think, first of all, Roma is one of the best teams when it comes to doing this, because we've promoted a lot of players. Zalewski and all of those. But other than that, we can continue doing this. And I strongly believe that Pizzilli or anyone else, but this live stream is focused on him because you look at these statistics and they are spectacular. They are something else. I truly think that he can be our Pablo Gavi. He can be our Pedri. He can be our Bukayo Saka. But because he doesn't have enough cameras and eyes on him right now, because he doesn't play in a first team, he will never become that. And I think Italian football in general, Italian youth development has to improve. It has to improve because not only it will have benefits on the Italian national team, but I've repeated this a lot, it will also have benefits on attracting more people to the league and making the league a more young, wild and free league, if you see what I mean. So that's it. Very similar to Gavi. Let's kind of sum this up by comparing him and Gavi's position. Is that they play in a very similar position. In fact, they play in the same exact position. Gavi used to be a midfielder. Now, with Barcelona's way of playing, he is slowly starting to evolve in a winger. And I think he has to follow Gavi as an example. Because both of them started as midfielders. Both of them started as box-to-box midfielders. And both of them made their way to scoring goals. And I know Gavi doesn't have great statistics when it comes to scoring goals and contributions. It's not Gavi's main strength. Gavi's main strength, I think, is physique, even though he's not that tall, and just being that feisty bastard player. Which, I mean, can you call it a characteristic? I'm not sure, but that's why I love the player. You know, he's scored goals. He's he's in that position where he can make that step. He really can. And imagine how much we can celebrate if he becomes a player like Pablo Gavi. Imagine how happy fans would be to have a player like Pablo Gavi or Pedri or whatever. Take an example, whatever you want, in our team. Wouldn't it be great to see a player like him play week in and week out, day in and day out, game in and game out? So, yeah, I think the big thing on this stream is that effectively another thing is that time is also ticking. Time is also ticking because if we don't promote him now, and if we don't make him a first team player now, he will never become a first team player. You know, you look at the average ages of all of these talents which I've named you, but let's stick with Pablo Gavi because he's been compared with Pablo Gavi, so I want to stick with him in this stream. Gavi is the same age as him. In fact, to be accurate, let's see if Gavi... Gavi is 18 years old. He was born in August 2004. And Pizzilli is 18 years old and was born the 23rd of September. So Gavi is 1 month older than Pizzilli. And yet he is going to win the league this season. Yet he is a staple player in Barcelona's first team. And at 18 years old, Pizzilli is still in the youth team. You see what I mean? I think time is ticking because if we don't speed things up, he's not going to become that generational talent such as Pablo Gavi. Because Gavi is already 18 and is going to win the league title this season as a staple player in Barcelona's team. You know, everyone can say whatever they want about Gavi, but the fact that he won the league as an outsider. No, Gavi won the league this season. He's going to win the league as a big player, as a main player. So, time is ticking because if we don't do it now, he will never reach that step. And if he doesn't reach that step, his value will never be compared to what Pablo Gavi's value is right now. I think it's been a very interesting stream today because I think there's such a galaxy in our youth team. There's such a galaxy which people are yet to find out about and open that I really advise you, if you've got any articles about these players describing their personality and how they play, their style of play and all of that, have a look at them because they're always great. Because it really does open up the fact that our youth team is one of the best youth teams in Europe. And I think a big step for this team in the future is to promote him in the first team and maybe turn him into a first team player. Because, as I've said many times in this stream, you look at his statistics, you look at the way he plays. In fact, go watch a video of how he plays right now. And not only we need a player like him, but the league can also benefit from a player like him. So yeah, I've enjoyed it today. I enjoyed this live stream. Let me read a few comments and then I'll end the stream. Mitrovic's striker option next season. I mean, experience is a big thing in managers, so definitely not. Would it be such a Roma thing if we lose on Thursday? Says why Shaq. Youth development is dire in Italian football. Fagioli, true. Fagioli. I'll take Fagioli. Fagioli is a generational talent. I will take him. But again, he's older. He's 4 years older than these players. Gavi's 4 years younger and he's going to win the league this season. So yeah, he is a generational talent. I'm not saying he isn't. But you look at Gavi, he's 18 years old. You look at Saka, let's search him up. He is 21 years old. You look at Bellingham and he is 19 years old. Yeah, I guess I'll take Fagioli. Fratesi's not a generational talent. I'm sorry, I like the guy, but he's not a generational talent. You can't. I mean, you can't. I don't think he's good. He's a good player, but he's not a generational talent. Moise Kean is not a generational talent, so I'm not buying Moise Kean. Tonali, I agree, could be. Miretti, I'd get Maldini. I don't know. I think Maldini's where he is just because of his surname. I haven't watched it yet. Make sure to subscribe to that channel. Link is in the description below. Go watch the video. It's an interesting one, and like the video too. And yeah, also I've said this yesterday, I've created a fan forum on WhatsApp, so if you want to be added so we can chat about football, Roma, transfer news and all of that, send me your phone number with your country's prefix over at info.thesimonShow@gmail.com. That's in the link in the description below. And yeah, I will catch you tomorrow with the match preview of the Feyenoord game, a very big game. I'm going to study the predicted 11, some betting tips and all of that for tomorrow's stream tonight. And yeah, take care. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your comments on Pizzilli and potentially his comparison with Pablo Gavi in the comments below. Catch you very soon. Take care. Enjoy your day. Simon, out.